Overview and organization of the ICD 9CM Coding Theory and Practice with ICD 10 textbook. The overview.
Now, beginning in Chapter 3 of the text, the publisher reprints portions of the ICD-9-CM Official Guidelines for Coding and Reporting, which we will abbreviate OGCR, that are specific to that particular chapter of the ICD-9-CM code book the textbook is discussing. If you will turn to page 48 of the text, you will see an example of these that are shaded in blue. These OGCR are the same OGCR printed in your ICD-9-CM code book beginning on page 1, which you should have marked with a tab for quick reference as I discussed in my overview video of the ICD-9-CM code book. Now, the publisher has also included reprints of the ICD-10-CM OGCR in the text and has shaded these in green. If you will turn to page 50 of the text, you will see an example. In this course, students are not responsible for learning the ICD-10-CM OGCR. However, students are responsible for learning the OGCR that apply to ICD-9-CM. Portions of the ICD-9-CM codebook are shown also throughout the text, labeled as figures. If you turn to page 61 of the text, you will see figures 310 and 311. Try locating the figures in your codebook as you come across each, paying attention to the green highlighted explanations. Be sure that you are completing the exercise shaded in pink as you read through each chapter of the text. If you turn to page 35 of the text, you will see exercise 2-1 that is shaded in pink. An answer key for all of these exercises is posted in the Course Resources module so that you can check your answers to check your understanding of each. Students should also pay close attention to and review all of the examples shaded in purple throughout the chapters. If you turn to page 36, you will see 3 examples shaded in purple. These are excellent examples that usually follow the concepts discussed within the chapter. And each chapter of the text ends with a chapter review. If you turn to page 45 of the text, you will see the chapter review for Chapter 2. Answers to these exercises are included with the answer keys posted in the Course Resources module. It is highly suggested you complete as many of these as possible as they are great reviews to wrap up what you have learned for that particular chapter. Now, to learn how to code, students must practice, and then practice some more. The text gives you plenty of opportunity to practice as you progress through each chapter, so take advantage of it. And finally, if you have a question or need help, please post your question on the discussion board or set up an appointment to visit with me. Either way, it's up to you to let me know when you do not understand.
We'll now move on to the organization of the textbook. The early chapters of the textbook focus on the history, the health record as the foundation for coding, and the OGCR. A coder must have a basic understanding of this foundational content before moving on to more complicated material. Chapter 4 covers the basic steps of the ICD-9-CM codebook and the correct process for locating codes, whereas Chapter 26 is dedicated entirely to reimbursement and the role that ICD-9-CM and ICD-10-CM PCS plays in reimbursement methodologies. Chapters 8 through 25 cover each of the ICD-9-CM codebook chapters but do not conform to the order of the ICD-9-CM codebook chapters. These chapters are sequenced in the textbook for the following reasons. The assignment of codes for signs, symptoms, infectious diseases, and B codes may be applied to all chapters in the ICD-9-CM codebook. Therefore, these are the first chapters in the textbook. Each of these chapters follow a specific template that will help students learn this complex material beginning with the corresponding coding guidelines from the ICD-9-CM OGCR. This enforces the importance of the guidelines in accurate code assignment. Following this is a section on anatomy and physiology with full-color illustrations of the body system discussed in the chapter. This allows for more informed decision-making when selecting the correct code and also provides an important review of anatomy and physiology. Each chapter covers key disease conditions with illustrated examples. Within each chapter is a separate list of V codes. V codes are used in all sections of the ICD-9-CM codebook, and this list gives students easy reference to the correct V codes for each section. Featured in select coding chapters are common medications and treatment for the related disease conditions. It's important to become familiar with common medications to identify chronic illnesses that may be documented in the health record. Procedures are another important section of the coding chapters. Common and complex procedures relating to the diagnoses are covered in this section using Volume 3 of the ICD-9-CM Codebook. Finally, each coding chapter has a section on documentation and MSDRG assignment. This feature brings together all of the steps of the ICD-9-CM coding for optimum reimbursement, supported by documentation in the health record. Chapter 27 completes the picture of facility coding by covering ICD-9-CM coding for outpatient facility services. Most healthcare facilities today treat patients on both an inpatient and an outpatient basis. Coders are required to code both types of services, and it's important for students to understand the differences.